The question that haunts every human heart. Have you ever stared into the night sky, overwhelmed by the vastness of the universe, and quietly asked yourself, where did I come from? Not your body, not your name, not your nationality, but you, the consciousness behind your thoughts, the silent observer behind your emotions, the soul that animates your being. What is it? Where did it come from? And why is it here? Since the dawn of humanity, this question has lingered at the edge of our understanding, haunting philosophers, spiritual seekers, and scientists alike. Across civilizations, from the temples of ancient Egypt to the mountaintops of Tibet, from Plato's ideal forms to the Upanishads of India, we've all tried to grasp the same elusive truth, the origin of the soul. Yet, what if the truth is more shocking than we imagined? We've been taught to view life in linear terms: birth, growth, death, and perhaps something beyond. But what if birth isn't the beginning? What if your soul didn't just arrive the moment you took your first breath? What if it chose this life, your struggles, your family, your circumstances, for a reason beyond logic or chance? Modern science, of course, remains cautious. It can measure the brain, analyze the neurons, even map emotional responses. But no instrument has ever captured a soul. No microscope has seen consciousness emerge from a petri dish. And yet, it is you who wonders, who dreams, who fears and loves. Isn't that enough proof that something deeper exists? Consider this: children as young as 3 recalling past lives with uncanny accuracy. Near-death experiences where people leave their bodies and return with profound spiritual insights. Meditators and mystics describing the same cosmic unity, though they come from vastly different cultures. Are these simply coincidences? Or are they breadcrumbs leading us back to a forgotten truth? The idea that the soul has an origin, and that this origin is beyond time, space, and even comprehension, is not new. But what is new, perhaps, is our readiness to hear it. We are living in an era where the material world no longer satisfies. Despite all our technology, we're starving for meaning. And so, more people are turning inward, questioning the purpose of life and daring to ask, is there more to me than flesh and bone? This journey you're about to embark on is not merely intellectual. It's spiritual, emotional, personal, and it may shake the foundation of what you believe to be true. In this series, we will explore the 3 most profound dimensions of the soul's mystery: where it comes from, why it chose to enter this world, and how we can reconnect with its ultimate purpose. You might not leave with all the answers, but you will see your life and your existence with new eyes. The mystery before birth. Where do we come from? Before we ever opened our eyes in this world, before we took our first breath or cried out for the first time, something unexplainable had already taken place, something sacred, mysterious, and beyond the reach of our physical senses. We had arrived, not just as bodies, but as souls. And yet, most of us move through life never truly questioning the profound mystery of where we truly came from. Let us pause for a moment. Strip away your name, your memories, your education, your culture, all the labels society gave you. What remains? That silent awareness, that pure essence, that deep sense of I am. That is the soul. It is not defined by your birth certificate. It does not age with your body. And perhaps, it did not even begin with your birth. Many ancient traditions suggest that the soul exists long before the body is born, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, not the other way around. The Hindus speak of Atman, the eternal self that cycles through lifetimes. The Greeks, through Plato, believed that souls existed in the realm of perfect forms before descending into the physical world. And in countless indigenous cultures, the soul is a traveler, guided by ancestral wisdom, choosing when and where to be born. If this sounds like mythology, consider the growing body of experiences shared by people all around the world. Children barely able to speak, recounting vivid memories of lives they never lived, names of places they've never visited, details of professions they could not have possibly known. Are these merely coincidences? Or do they hint at a forgotten truth? Dr. Ian Stevenson, a psychiatrist at the University of Virginia, spent decades documenting over 2,500 cases of children who claimed to remember past lives. His research was meticulous, avoiding sensationalism. In many cases, details the children gave were later verified. They could describe houses they'd never seen, recall relatives long deceased, and even speak dialects foreign to their upbringing. What could possibly explain this? Genetics? Imagination? Or is it evidence of a soul that existed before birth? And then there are the stories of near-death experiences. People declared clinically dead, yet returning with vivid, detailed accounts of floating above their bodies, entering realms of light, or being greeted by spiritual beings. Though modern science often dismisses these as hallucinations, some accounts have been verified, describing surgeries, conversations, or physical surroundings with shocking accuracy while unconscious or in cardiac arrest. If even a fraction of these stories are true, they shake the very foundation of what we believe about the soul's origin. They suggest that birth is not a beginning, but a continuation, a soul entering into a new chapter of existence, a new body, a new story. But the mystery goes deeper. Some spiritual traditions go so far as to say that the soul chooses its birth, that it selects its parents, its challenges, and even the lessons it must face, not as punishment, but as a sacred agreement, a kind of soul contract made before entering this physical world. Now, you might ask, why would a soul choose hardship? Why choose to be born into poverty, war, or trauma? Because from the soul's perspective, those experiences are not curses. They are opportunities. Opportunities to evolve, to grow, to awaken. The soul is not here for comfort. It is here for expansion. Just as a seed must break to grow into a tree, the soul too must sometimes be broken open, through loss, through love, through life itself, to discover its true strength. This concept is difficult to grasp from a purely rational, scientific standpoint. The Western worldview has conditioned us to believe in linear time, cause and effect, and physical explanations for everything. But if we're willing to entertain the possibility that consciousness transcends matter, we begin to see the outlines of a much larger truth. Think of dreams. Think of déjà vu. You think of the unexplainable sense you've been here before or known someone forever, though you've just met. These are not just poetic feelings. They may be echoes of a soul far older than this lifetime. What if your soul has traveled through many lifetimes, not randomly, but with purpose? What if you've been here before, not as the person you are now, but as someone else, in another time, another place, learning different lessons? Would that change how you see yourself? Would that change how you treat others? Would it change how you face your struggles? The shocking truth about the origin of the soul is not that it came from somewhere outside us, but that it has always been with us. It is timeless, boundless. It existed before this body and will exist after it. The real shock is not the soul's existence, but how we've forgotten it. We've been taught to believe that life begins at birth and ends at death. But deep within, most of us feel that isn't the full story. We know there's something more. That's why we search. That's why we meditate, pray, ask questions at 3 a.m. when the world is quiet and we feel alone. That's why even in the most logical minds, there lingers a quiet voice whispering, "You are more than this." And you are. The mystery before birth is not something to fear. It is something to remember. The soul's origin is not a point on a timeline, but a thread in eternity. And the more we remember, the more we begin to live not just as bodies navigating a material world, but as souls on a sacred journey. This is only the beginning. In the next part, we will explore the descent of the soul, why it chooses to incarnate into a physical body, and what that choice reveals about your purpose in this life. But for now, I leave you with this question. What if you are not here by accident, but by divine design? The soul's descent, why we're born into a physical body. If the soul existed before birth, if it truly came from a realm beyond time and space, then one question naturally follows. Why would it choose to come here at all? Why would something so pure, eternal, and unbound willingly ascend into the density and pain of physical existence? Why would a soul choose to enter a body that grows old, feels hunger, experiences heartbreak, and eventually dies? To understand the answer, we must shift our perception of what it means to live a human life. We often see life as a random series of events, some good, some tragic, all outside our control. But what if that's not how the soul sees it? What if, from the soul's perspective, every challenge, every loss, every joy, every relationship is a carefully chosen opportunity for growth? Imagine a vast cosmic classroom. The soul is the student, and earth is one of its most challenging and rewarding schools. The body is not a prison, but a vessel, a tool, a sacred vehicle for learning, for experiencing, for remembering what the soul already knows, but cannot fully understand without living it. You see, the soul does not come into the body to escape from some heavenly realm. It comes to embody wisdom, to transform knowing into being, to experience duality, light and dark, love and fear, joy and sorrow, so that it may evolve. Think of love, for example. In the spirit realm, where everything is pure consciousness, love may be omnipresent. But what does love mean without contrast, without loss, without the choice to forgive, to sacrifice, to stay in the face of fear? The soul enters the human body precisely to experience the weight of choice, to feel separation so that it can rediscover unity, to forget so that it can remember, and in remembering, awaken to its deepest truth. Many spiritual teachings speak of the veil of forgetfulness. This veil ensures that when the soul enters the physical world, it does not remember its full divine origin, not because it's being punished, but because forgetting allows for genuine discovery. If you knew you were eternal, you wouldn't fear death, but you also wouldn't understand courage. If you knew every person you meet is a soul you've met before, you wouldn't struggle with forgiveness, but you also wouldn't grow your capacity for compassion. The body, then, becomes a sacred testing ground. It anchors the soul to this world, provides senses to interact with it, and offers a container for emotional and spiritual expansion. Yes, it feels pain. Yes, it decays. But through that fragility, the soul learns something it never could in the boundless realm of spirit, the beauty of impermanence. And here lies one of the most shocking truths of all. Many spiritual teachers, from ancient mystics to modern healers, believe that the soul chooses its life circumstances before incarnation. It chooses its family, its body, even certain key events that will shape its path, not to suffer for the sake of suffering, but to set the stage for specific lessons, specific awakenings. This is what some call the soul contract, a pre-birth agreement made by the soul, sometimes with other souls, to play certain roles in each other's lives. That difficult parent? Perhaps a soul who agreed to challenge you so you could learn resilience. That friend who betrayed you? Maybe a teacher in disguise, helping you discover your own worth. That illness or failure? A mirror, showing you where healing and growth are needed. This is not about blame. It's not saying you deserve pain. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about realizing that life is not happening to you. It's happening for you. Now, let's be clear. This perspective doesn't make suffering easier. It doesn't erase grief, trauma, or loss. But it does offer meaning. It says, you are not a victim of chance. You are a soul with purpose, navigating a path of transformation. And it brings an even more empowering truth. If the soul chose to descend into this life, it also chose the tools to navigate it. The strength, the intuition, the inner wisdom, it's all within you. You were never meant to be lost. You were meant to awaken. But here's where the danger lies. Many souls forget. They become entangled in the distractions of the material world. They identify too much with the body, with status, with survival. And in doing so, they lose their connection to who they really are. This is what many call spiritual amnesia, a state where the soul, fully immersed in the human experience, forgets that it is, in fact, a divine being. But even this forgetting has a purpose, because the process of waking up, of reuniting with your soul's truth, is perhaps the most powerful transformation a human can undergo. You've probably felt it before, moments of clarity, when the noise of the world fades and something deeper stirs within you. A whisper in the heart, a knowing in your gut, a strange sense that you were meant for more. That life has meaning beyond your bank account, your social status, or even your name. That is your soul speaking, and it is calling you back. So, why are we born into a physical body? Because the soul seeks to know itself through experience. It seeks to love where love is hard, to forgive where forgiveness is unthinkable, to rise when everything falls apart. It enters the human story to write a new chapter in its eternal journey, one filled with color, pain, beauty, and truth. This human life is not a punishment. It is not a detour. It is a sacred descent, a temporary forgetting, followed by a glorious remembering. And that remembering begins the moment you stop seeing yourself as just a body and start listening to the quiet, eternal presence within you. In part 3, we will explore what it truly means to awaken the soul, to move beyond survival and step fully into your higher purpose. Because you were not just born to exist, you were born to evolve. Awakening the soul, the hidden purpose of your existence. You were not born to merely survive. You were not placed on this earth to chase comfort, accumulate possessions, or passively drift through the years. You came here, as a soul, with purpose, with intent, and with power. But in the noise of the world, in the rush of daily demands, most of us forget. We forget who we are. We forget why we came. But the soul never forgets. It waits. And when the time is right, it begins to stir. Sometimes softly, in the form of questions, longings, or dreams. Sometimes forcefully, through crisis, heartbreak, or loss. But in every case, the soul is not trying to hurt you. It's trying to wake you up. Because once you awaken, life is no longer something happening to you. It becomes something happening through you. But what does it mean to awaken the soul? It doesn't mean escaping this world. It doesn't mean renouncing all material things or meditating on a mountaintop. Awakening is not about leaving life. It's about engaging with life at a deeper level. It's about remembering your divine nature while fully embracing your human experience. It's learning to live with purpose, with awareness, and with alignment. Most people live in reaction. They chase what the world tells them they should want: success, fame, approval. And when they get it, they feel empty. Why? Because the soul doesn't feed on status. It doesn't crave titles or applause. It craves meaning, growth, truth. Your soul came here with a blueprint, not a rigid plan, but a set of themes and lessons it longs to explore. Perhaps your path involves learning unconditional love. Perhaps it's about courage, or healing, or creative expression. Whatever it is, your deepest fulfillment will only come when you begin to walk in alignment with that inner design. So how do you begin this journey of awakening? It begins in stillness. In silence, the soul speaks. In quiet moments, when you disconnect from screens, distractions, and noise, you may begin to feel that subtle, sacred presence within. That voice is not loud. It's not demanding, but it is wise, and it will guide you if you let it. Awakening also requires courage, because once you hear the voice of your soul, it may ask you to change, to leave toxic relationships, to walk away from false identities, to follow a path that others may not understand. Awakening will shake you. It will stretch you. It will demand that you let go of everything that is not truly you. But in doing so, it will give you back your life. You begin to live with clarity. You start noticing synchronicities, those mysterious coincidences that guide your path. You find yourself drawn to people, places, and ideas that nourish your spirit. You begin to feel that life is not random, that it is speaking to you, shaping you, and supporting your journey in unseen ways. And then something profound happens. You stop searching outside yourself for answers. You stop begging the world to validate your worth. You stop living in fear of death because you realize, deeply, unshakably, that you are not this body. You are not your past. You are not your possessions. You are the soul, eternal, expansive, divine. From this awakened place, your purpose becomes clear. It's not a job title. It's not a role. It's a state of being. Your purpose is to live in truth, to express love, to embody the wisdom you've gained across lifetimes. Whether you're a teacher, a parent, an artist, or a healer, your true mission is to bring light into the world in your own unique way. And make no mistake, the world needs awakened souls. We live in a time of profound disconnection. Anxiety, depression, and meaninglessness are spreading, not because something is wrong with people, but because people are disconnected from who they really are. We've built a world that worships speed, status, and consumption, and in doing so, we've buried the soul beneath layers of illusion. But that is changing. More and more people are waking up. They are turning inward. They are seeking depth over distraction, truth over approval, spirit over ego. You are part of that awakening. And perhaps the most important truth of all is this: awakening is not a final destination. It is a process, a spiral journey that unfolds layer by layer. There will be times you feel lost again, times when fear returns, times when the path seems unclear. That's okay. That's part of the journey. Because each time you fall asleep, you have the chance to wake up stronger. Each moment is a choice, to align with your soul or to drift with the world. And every time you choose soul, even in the smallest way, you bring more light into the collective consciousness. So ask yourself, what stirs my spirit? What truths am I afraid to admit? What part of me is still hiding? And what would it look like if I lived from my soul, not my fear? The shocking truth about the origin of the soul is not just that it comes from somewhere higher. It's that it never left. You didn't lose your soul. You just stopped listening. And now, it's calling you back. To live with awareness. To act with love. To serve with purpose. To remember who you are. And so, I leave you with this final message. You are not here by accident. You were born of divine origin. You carry within you the wisdom of eternity. The soul that lives in you is ancient, luminous, and unbreakable. And the time has come, not to become something more, but to remember what you already are. Awaken, and let the world feel the power of your light. Thank you for allowing me to share this journey with you today. May you find the courage to let go, the grace to heal, and the freedom to live fully.